definitely do that. Viewers, I am myself a designer that has submitted work to thehandsomnerd.com, and I can assure you it's a very rewarding experience. And if you look at this slideshow, the shirts represented from thehandsomnerd.com are moving around the screen as we speak. So do check that out. It makes you a lot more handsome instantly.
Well, going off something I was saying earlier, in my own experience, I grew up playing games, not just StarCraft, but games in general. And I didn't just think, I knew that, gaming was always a cool thing. It was something to be proud of. And I felt like growing up when I looked at attire for shirts that at least were, I guess, geared towards my demographic, for instance, I always felt like they were almost condescending, or lacked any wit. And I think one thing that Artosis and I were trying to do with these shirts, or use an artist, for instance, was just trying to have some fun, but not make them, out of control, geeky. I mean, obviously there's some cutesy shirts on there, but yeah, I mean that was pretty much our goals. I remember being a kid and I was like, I wonder where I can get a video game shirt, and walking into some of these stores and thinking, no, that's no, I don't know about this.
Better than that.
Initially we went with a lot of minimalist art on that because I felt like a lot of gaming shirts were so over the top. It was like, it was too colorful maybe, or too much complicated art. Maybe we'll focus on something like that later on. But right now, a lot of it's very minimalist.
A bit
Just
like
going up what we
Starcraft.
talked about earlier. Yep.
Yeah, as I said, it's an excellent alternative lifestyle choice for geeks and gamers, and it's worth checking out because it's different from the regular, typical geek providers out there. But turning back to the game of StarCraft, things have really been heating up lately. This autumn has been on fire. Not only has it been recently proven in the IEF and World Cyber Games that non-Koreans can put up a decent fight against real pro gamers. Boxer got beat by White Raw, and obviously a lot more upsets happen. But now we also have two aspiring so-called pro-earners, professional foreigners living in Korea, aiming to become regular pro gamers there, Idra and Ret. And on top of that, we have the second season of the Teamliquid Starleague is coming up very soon. So these are very exciting times. What are your
Right.
thoughts on the matter, and how will you be involved?
Now, is your question more about how foreigners are doing on the scene, or I just want to make sure I answered this correctly. Sorry.
Sorry, that was a bit of an epic question there. I was just trying to fire up the mood. But yes, the foreign StarCraft community, as part of the international community, how are we holding up, and how's it going to look in the near future, you think, from a foreign perspective?
Well, one thing's for sure, and I knew this before foreigners were doing well, or in lulls when foreigners weren't doing well, is there's nothing, genetically special about Koreans and why they're good at StarCraft. There's parts of their eSports training model that are superior to what non-Koreans have, and a lot of it has to do with the opportunity Koreans are given. Now, I'm going to say something that might actually shock a lot of people, but I'm happy to say it. You don't have to play 12 hours a day to be good, to even be the best. In fact, I think the fact that players are overplayed so much is one of the reasons why we see such a high burnout rate when it comes to a lot of these. Yeah, that's a perfect example. And I can tell you a lot of Koreans are definitely overtrained to the point where it's no longer pragmatic. But at the same time, living in a house with, let's say, 10 to 15 other prodigies at the game means you can exchange ideas. You can give tips. I mean, a big part of StarCraft is watching somebody else play in first person, being like, oh, in fact, mechanically you're doing this wrong, or you know what you should try doing in this situation is moving the unit this way, or I see what you do wrong. You actually spend too much time, microing this battle, and it actually causes your supply to hit the max when you should be building more, pylons or depots. So this is actually what allows Koreans to be the best. Now, what's surprising for me is that we're seeing a lot of non-Koreans. These are guys that work full time, who might play for 2 to 3 hours at night, taking out not only old legends but new legends. You have G5 or White Raw taking down Boxer,
Yeah.
who is considered, kind of the brain of StarCraft. bending all the rules. And then you have somebody like Advocat taking a game off Jadong on a map that's impossible to take a game off Jadong with. Uh,
Yeah.
it's exciting, but what it also shows is that as long as you work hard, you can achieve this stuff. And what's also exciting is we have a lot of non-Koreans coming down here and training with the best of the best. We got Idra down here, which is exciting. Rhett just got here, so it's really cool. But for the record, it's not like 2 or 3 non-Koreans have ever beat Koreans. This actually happens more often than you think. Although I'm under the impression that a lot of people don't know about this. First of all, because a lot of people don't want replays released if they're training with a certain player. A lot of non-Koreans do train with Korean pro gamers. It's not uncommon. If you want me to kind of quantify it, I'd probably say the very best non-Koreans are probably right at the level of the very best B teamers or low-level A teamers of Koreans. And of course, there are always exceptions to that rule.
Yeah.
But it's exciting for me. Yeah, it's great.
It's exciting for all of us. The international scene is becoming more fluid and not just A and B sided, so to speak. And mentioning the Teamliquid Starleague, that is, I would argue, the most sincere and profound, and if you will, epic foreign professional Starcraft event in the world. And the first season was very popular and very well run. Will you be taking part in any way in the season 2?
I will. I will actually be commentating with Artosis.
Excellent.
We are very excited to do that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. TSL, very exciting. What makes me happy is, look, I grew up as a competitive player with StarCraft being very delegitimized. I actually, back as a competitive player, remember trying to talk to people running some of these tournaments. And it wasn't just one in particular, it was many of a lot of these older guys saying there's no way there will ever be an English-speaking audience for StarCraft. I was told that countless times, and I'm very happy to say that those people are wrong.
Yes, they are.
And that, GomTV is just one example of many. Of course, the TSL, another great example of the fact that there is a base of people, in fact, a very big base of people that want to follow this, not just with Koreans, but with non-Koreans as well. So, look, I am really excited to do the TSL. I can't tell you how excited I am. And I got to say, I'm really grateful to all the people at Teamliquid. It's a great StarCraft site. For putting this together, it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. The logistics of not just getting the ladder, but the actual broadcasting and streaming done is no small feat. So it's a great thing.
It is indeed, and we will be looking forward to watching it with great pleasure. Can you tell us when the casted games will begin? Is that clear? When will we hear your voice telling us what's going on?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. The schedule was emailed to me. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know.
I will put up a link in the sidebar, viewers. It will be clear there.
But even on that note, I don't know if I can say the schedule yet. I don't know, but it'll be announced soon. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But it will be at a time that will be convenient for non-Koreans.
Yeah.
Which is good because obviously more non-Koreans watching than Koreans. And Dan and me, Artosis and me, are going to do our very best with the commentary to give you guys the best analysis. The best analysis. And make it entertaining as well.
Well, if we know that the caster Archon is behind the wheels, it can be nothing less than great, I'm sure. So we're looking forward to that. And
we do awesome splash damage, yeah.
Indeed you do. So building on to that, eSports as a phenomenon, which has been very discredited in the past and laughed at, is an industry that's growing rapidly. It's sustaining a lot of business and a lot of money, and many of us hope, I certainly do, that it will become a truly professional vocation for players outside of Korea and China. Given your deep insight and historical knowledge, where do you think it will go, the business of esports?